I think what needs to happen is that road safety needs to be looked at holistically.
I want to touch the life of somebody. I want to change somebody's life.
We have the village elders, we have the village council, we have the Nyumba Kumi wazee. Sit down with them, discuss, dialogue.
Thank you for joining me. This is The Point, and I am Miriam Ogutu. Now, he launched his presidency bid a few days ago. It was very fiery and passionate. I'm joined by the man himself today on the show, Mr. Stephen Owoko.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining me on the show today.
Thank you too.
So you launched your presidency the other day, and we will get into that in a bit. But first of all, I would like for you to tell us who Stephen Owoko is, for those who are hearing you for the first time.
Okay, in brief, Stephen Owoko is a Kenyan citizen, born over 50 years ago in this country, and always trying and striving to be a good citizen.
Okay.
That's all I can say about myself.
Always trying and striving to be a good citizen.
Yes.
So have you been in public service before? This is your first time?
I've never been in public service, but I've been in private
sector.
That's right.
Okay. So did you just sit there one time and decided, you know what, I'm going to run, and I'm not just going to run, I'm going to run for the presidency of this great country? Or is it something that has been advised by years of looking at things and seeing the way the leadership of this country has been, and you thought you could do a good job?
Oh, that's a good question. Number one, I've said I've been around for over 50 years, from Kenyatta's time to Moi and then Kibaki and now this government. And patronic Kenyan who loves this country. I played some politics behind the scenes, especially in '97. I was living outside the country, and there was some chaos. They used to say there's no elections, no reforms, no election, no reforms. I personally went to South African government, met Mandela. We discussed with him how we can come and to intervene. And actually, through his intervention, we had a peaceful elections.
Okay.
2006,
through Mandela's intervention?
Yeah, the South African government. Behind the scenes, and there's a lot of things that we do. That's why we had a peaceful election in '97. 2006, I contested the Nakuru parliamentary seat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, of course.
So that was your first attempt?
Yeah, that was my first attempt. But of course, what happens was very simple. I did not succeed because the government of the day wanted Merugi's son at least to reciprocate him for what his father done. Okay. That's right. But now, looking at the current situation, we have been having problems as a nation. But of late, we have reached an alarming rate. And if nothing is done, we are headed for a disaster. This country might sink, as I said, or we might hit a rock bottom that it might take us so many years to regain our country again. And that is why I'm running now for the presidency to salvage our country from that.
Yeah. And so you've said you've been around for a while. Have you been involved in the communities? And if so, at what level? What have you been doing in the community?
I've been involved actually during the Kibaki era. I was one of the silent advisors
of Kibaki.
Of the Kibaki government.
The Grand government?
No, the other one, the first Kibaki. Most cases, whenever there was an issue, serious problems, they would send down some of the ministers, which I will not name here. Not once, not twice, not third. They will come, they will discuss with me, then I will give them the solution. They will come, then implement it. Okay. And even during the coalition, the same thing. They would call me to Nairobi. We'd have our private meetings with the people in government, and then the next day, those problems will be solved as per. Right. So I've been behind the scene advising the past government. Even this one, when the government came into the Uhuru Ruto came to the government, I actually wrote the Nyumba Kumi initiative. Unfortunately, they're implementing something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your initial suggestion?
Now, the initial suggestion and the document that I gave to the Minister Olelenku by then is not what some people have gotten to run with it. Because
So would you like sharing with us?
for now, that's what under the bridge.
But you realize you're going to a public seat, so some of these things you might be
Yeah, there are
needed
certain
to-
things that
to-
you do in private for your country.
Yeah.
And then when...
But maybe those ideas, they might be of help
No,
right
once
now.
I'm elected, I'll implement the Nyumba Kumi the way it's supposed to do.
So how is it supposed to do according to you?
Was to bring the government to the people. So
Yeah.
the people take charge
Participate.
locality, yeah. From there now, they decide what they want, what can be done in terms of security, in terms of environment, in terms of education, some of health, and so on, so that they'll be able to manage that place themselves. But unfortunately, it's not what they implemented. It's
So
a whole document.
it's largely borrowed from the Tanzanian Jamaa.
That's right. It was borrowed from Tanzania, Jamaa, because I lived there during Nyerere's time,
Okay.
from
Oh,
1984
I
to
see.
89.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a resident. Nyerere was my president and my mentor as well.
Okay.
And so we took it, we cut and paste, but then improvised it
Yeah, to suit
our Kenyan social system.
Cultural, and everything.
That's
we
right.
feel that.
So what they're implementing, I will just say that I was part of it, but it's not the way that they're doing
So
it.
should you be elected, you're keen on having a Nyumba Kumi implemented in the way that you had
Visualized.
initially visualized.
Actually, if I take over, the Nyumba Kumi will be part of my good governance.
Okay.
Because the government, the people, democracy talks a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
That is what the Constitution says.
Yeah. But
the
in
people.
Kenyan context, a government of the few, for the few, and by the few, and so-called the cartels.
Okay, the cartel.
So once you implement that, people say now, we have a problem of water. How do we solve this? We have a problem with the streetlights. We have a problem with the roads here. How can we solve it? So that they line together with the central government so that the service reaches down on the ground.
Yeah.
But they themselves supervises and initiates it. Because you can say, you bring us water, yet the problem was insecurity.
Yeah.
You can't bring a police station when the problem was about housing.
But currently that is the work of the MCA. Do you think they're doing a good job?
The Kenyan MCA are following what they're seeing at the top. It's just greedy individuals who are there to make money at the expense of the population. So the MCA, their mandate, even in the Constitution, is not supposed to bring the law government to the people. It's different. So the Nyumba Kumi is a bit different from what the MCA are doing.
Okay. So what do you think is ailing the Kenyan leadership?
Leaders were bankrupt of ideas, visionless, have no ideas at all on how to run the country. A country should be run by somebody with understanding, knowledge, and if possible, a bit of wisdom. But you must be understanding. You have knowledge and the vision. You must know where we are as a country and where you want to take the country next. You must visualize. You must be able to see the potential resources of a country, and then the countries, and then localities. This is what we call the invisible. Let me give an example. We live in Kwale, and for years we never knew we had titanium there. But somebody comes and knows there's a titanium here. We have lived in this country in Turkana, and we never know there was oil. So what happens? Those people are what we call geophysics survey. They know what is here and what is there. No, and leadership must be able to have that, know the resource of the nation, and what is good for the country, and where you want to take the country within the next 10, 20, 50 years. Which is lacking this country. We have leaders of this country who are only 5 to 10 years politicians, and people with vested interests. What happens is this: once a leader becomes greedy and only selfish, then he becomes blind to the realities, and this is what is ailing us.
Okay. So that is what is ailing us.
Yeah.
So what will be a solution to the current doctors' strike stalemate?
Number one, in my power, what I'll do is, I'm not going to leave the health of the nation to the countries that will be managed and be controlled by the central government.
So was that the first mistake?
That was the first mistake.
Health, but education is still
Devolving the health
So
sector.
devolving
That was a big
So bring
mistake
it
in the
back to
first
the
place.
national government.
It was not. We were not yet ready for that.
So should you be elected, the
I'll
health
bring it
sector
back.
will get back to the
Yeah,
national government?
let me remind you that when we got independence, our founding fathers declared war on three. That was poverty, disease, and ignorance. That's education, health, and knowledge. So what is happening? We must be able to invest heavily on training, on health, training the doctors, training the personnel, and also investing in industries. So what happens is this: once I'm elected, I will put so money for micro industry so that we make our own drugs.
Okay.
We make our own drugs.
Do we have that capacity?
We have the capacity.
And
What
what-
happens is this: once you have the will, there's always a way.
A way.
I will not devolve the health. I will take it back to the central government and pay them well, so that the doctor does not run from clinic A to clinic B. Like in Ghana, for example.
The moonlighting.
In Ghana, what they say, if you want to remain the government, there's what we call incentives or bonuses. You want to go to private sector, fine, you are free. But those who are working for the government, there's incentive. They're paid well, so they have no reason to run up and down. They concentrate on what they are doing. So that's what I will do.
Okay. Okay. So what pushed you to, of all the elective posts in this country, and you decided you want to run for the presidency of this country? Why the presidency?
When there's a problem in school, let me give us a typical example, and the school is not doing performing, we always go and pay for the blood of the head of the headmaster. Because actually, once the headmaster goes, the system remains, the people remain. You see the school improving.
Improves, yeah.
So, the fish rots from the head. So in this country, whatever we are having, the problem we are having is because the head of state has failed us.
In what way?
He's visionary. He doesn't know how to run a country like Kenya.
So if you are the president and say a person like Waiguru, and I by no means implying that, because I don't know what is happening to her case right now, do you think she could be walking free right now, or?
I've become the president, and hopefully after August, what will happen is simple. We have all these cases with EEC. I will say, fine, it is alleged, and this is the proof that you swindled or you misappropriated this million. There will be a window period where we'll say, fine, we don't know you own the 100%, but we want to reclaim 80% from you. Give us back this money. Recovery of asset where you put it. And if you say no, then we take you through the due process of law, not the one we are having now. I'm going to overhaul the judicial process so that it is quick and easier to get justice. So that's what will happen. Okay. It happened in Nigeria after Abacha. They say, fine, let's negotiate. You stole this much. They were saying, let's return 50%. Others said, anyway, but then we agree. You either give us 50, 70, 80, but it will be an agreement.
Like what Patni did by returning the Grand Regency to
Yeah,
government.
like what Patni did.
Okay.
So that's what we are going to do. Because at the end of the day, we say, this is what we want. But if you don't, then we put you in jail for a very, very long time. Not only you, but even your family. There's no way we can put you in prison, let your family to enjoy what you stole from the Kenyan people.
That sounds like something trampled.
No, you see, that's how it is.
That's how it is.
And that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you refuse the amnesty. Yeah.
So because you're trying to negotiate in a way
negotiate.
that it's a win-win for both.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, Mr. Stephen Owoko will tell us more about his candidature for the presidency of this country. Welcome back, and I'm glad you stayed tuned. In case you're joining me, my guest today is presidential candidate Stephen Owoko, who is looking to vie for the presidency of this country, the August elections. So now, Mr. Stephen, recently during the launch of your candidacy, this is what you said, and I'll quote: "The State House has been turned into a den of robbers, a center for hit squad and prostitution." Can you substantiate these claims?
Okay, now, let me start with the hit squad. There are many prominent people who have died mysteriously, starting with Mshai, the former MP for Gatundu, the senator for Makweni.
But do you have proof
No,
that?
let me just finish. Makweni, Kajwang, and Odinga's son. That's one. When we talk of a hit squad, we have economical hit squad. People who sit down, those are now what we call the deaths, which has become mysteriously, and people
So what does
disappearing.
that have to do with State House?
Okay, fine. I'll explain that.
Okay.
During the voter registration, we saw the president going to certain places and neglecting to go and tell the other persons in certain countries to vote. So it's targeting only a few countries. You get the point?
But it's
Now, when we talk
political.
about hitmen, hit squad, is where people sit and plan how to marginalize others economically, how to weaken other political parties by either systematically eliminating their supporters. That you cannot say these deaths are normal.
Like which one, with specific?
I've counted the people who have died mysteriously.
So are
And
you?
these are
Let's just make it very, very clear, because I asked. That's what you said. State House from the when you were launching your candidacy that day.
The leadership has turned their offices and most of the State House into a den of robbers, a center for hit squad and prostitution.
So do you imply that these deaths has anything to do with State House, or what are you saying exactly?
I'm saying they have never come public, even through the government pathology, to say these are what have killed this serious senior Kenyan citizen for the last 4 years. What would that tell you? That there is, in quotes, a cover-up. So that's what I meant.
Okay. So allegedly.
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 When we talk of what you say again, a den of robbers. A den of robbers is where people sit and scheme on how they're going to get public procurement. According to the SGR, 40% of the material was supposed to be supplied from locally. That's where people sit and get the procurements, the who is who.
So what are your thoughts about Kenyan soldiers still being in Somalia, and is getting them out a solution?
I will get them out within 90 days. We went to Somalia to fight these causeless.
But remember, the Al-Shabaab attacked us first.
Good.
Because they were causing a lot of instability at the Kenyan coast.
That-
So that's why Kenyan government had to do what they did.
That was a perception.
So do you think that we've overstayed our stay in Somalia?
Let me go back to what happened. The old French lady who was kidnapped
Yeah.
at a very remote area, that was a setup to make the Kenyan convinced that we've been
Do you have
attacked.
proven facts about this
The
allegations?
Al-Shabaab made it clear. They said we were not involved.
Okay.
They made it clear. We were never involved.
So why would the
But we
Kenyan
said
government...
we were involved. We were going there to make sure that we stop the Al-Shabaab attacking us. But since we went there, we have been more attacked. We have lost more people, more than even before we went to Somalia. The Americans went to Somalia. They found it was not possible, so they went back.
They left.
Why don't we just leave? According to African Union Charter, you are not supposed to send a combat to a neighboring country to go and fight the internal wars.
Yeah, that you
So
share the
as a
border with.
Kenyan, we first place, we are not supposed to be part of the African team. We should be coming back. Number two, the Somali government, as per se, says they don't want the Kenyan forces in Somalia. Number three, the Al-Shabaab are saying, this is our war. Leave us alone. Why don't we leave them alone and bring our army back? Afghanistan government is talking to the Taliban. The Nigerian government is talking to Boko Haram.
Okay. So are you suggesting that the Kenyan government, we should start speaking with Al-Shabaab?
And make the Somali government, Al-Shabaab, talk and see what they want to stabilize their country. We can help facilitate that.
Okay.
All along in Kenyan history, we have been peacemakers.
Okay.
From 1975, Savimbi and Angolan government, and so on and so on. Why are we diverting from that? We were known worldwide as peacekeepers, not people who are engaged in combat. Now we have become an army of occupation.
So
And
we want
according to
occupy.
UNO report, is that the Kenyan government, our army is doing business in Kismayu with the Al-Shabaab.
So are you trying to say that we've become friends with the Al-Shabaab?
Of course. They are our people.
They-
They are Somalis. They're not animals. We need to talk with them and see, what do you want? What is the ideology?
So
They
we
chose
have
that way.
we have overstayed our stay in
We
Somalia.
have overstayed in Somalia. Now we
Okay.
have become an army of occupation.
Okay. You became very emotional when you were talking about Kenyans being oppressed. Oh, why do you feel like Kenyans are oppressed?
As I'm talking now, the best of the best, who are the lecturers and the professors, are already in the streets. The best of the best
The good minds in this country.
in this country.
And the doctors.
And those are just the few who had refused to leave this country to look for greener pastures. They had all the opportunity, but they decided, because they love their country, they want to be now in the streets. For any country that wants to develop, once you tamper with the best brains, you can never develop through leaps and bounds. That's number one. We have to fight ignorance. Number two, the doctors, now they're approaching their past second month.
Today is the 66th day.
Surely, don't we have any person in this country with the wisdom who can solve such a small issue? What happens to the majority of Kenyans who cannot afford medical care in private hospitals? What happens to them? So is their pain is my pain. Their sorrow is my sorrow. And that's why it
That's
hurts
why you
me.
became very passionate.
Yeah, when I
when
see
you're mentioning.
the young men who are supposed to be productive, wasting their life here, selling, I don't know, teddy bear from me to, that's a waste of a human resource of a country.
And now, Stephen, you have an opportunity to speak to the electorate of this country and tell them, should you be elected the president of this country, how will their lives change and what do you intend to do differently?
Our fellow Kenyans, I'm presenting myself to be your candidate for the presidency, and I ask for your vote because once you elect me, I will make this country industrialized within 5 years. The fellows we are competing with have been there. We gave them the chance, and they're the people that have brought this country to where we are. And what they're interested is just power in order to control public procurement and public finance for their own greed and self-interest. If you elect me, every Kenyan will be employed because I'll be creating over 5 million jobs. I will give free medical care to the Kenyans. I will provide free education from primary to university. And so I'll make this country one of the most peaceful and best to live in. Thank you.
And with that, he said it. You have the votes. If you've not registered, go register. And that is your voice. Your vote is your voice. And if you think Stephen Owoko should be your president in the next coming elections, your vote will decide that. And until next time, this has been The Point. I am Miriam Muguto, and I'll see you later.
I think what needs to happen is that road safety needs to be looked at holistically.
I want to touch the life of somebody. I want to change somebody's life.
We have the village elders, we have the village council, we have the nyumba kumi wazee. Sit down with them, discuss, dialogue.